Shavua Torah B'Tay. The question arises when a person has a certain doorpost, an entrance from one room to another, or an entrance to a house altogether from the street, and over there in that doorpost there's no space for the mezuzah. What does that mean? When you close the door, there are now certain kinds of doorposts that are made, doors, where the door totally takes up all the space, the airspace within the doorpost area, the doorpost space there. So the question is, can a person now, because of that, put the mezuzah behind the doorpost, in the front, in front of the doorpost, on the back, not in the airspace of the doorpost, but behind or in front? That's the question. So the truth is that many places you see that people don't have a place to put their mezuzah in the doorpost, within the airspace of the doorpost. That's what they do. They put it behind, they put it in front, or they put it on the wall altogether and not on the doorpost, because there's no space over there in the doorpost. So the question is it kosher like that? So the truth is that we have in the Shulchan Aruch, in Siman Reish Pet Tet Yorodea, it says over there that if a person has to put the mezuzah within the airspace of the doorpost. What does that mean? It has to be under the lintel, the top lintel, and if it's not in that airspace, it's not kosher. That's what the Shulchan Aruch is telling you. So over there, the Rama also adds a little bit of a caveat over there. What does he say? It says the Rama that implies, his language, that if a person can also put it behind the door as well. What does that mean? Let's say that there's a door over there in the doorpost, and there's still more space behind the door, within the airspace of the doorpost. There's more space over there under the lintel. So the question is, can he put it behind the door, or does it have to be dafka precisely in front of the door, the mezuzah, where a person can see it when he's going in? So it says the Rama that if there's a need for that, the person has to put the mezuzah behind the door. So this is kosher, and this is coming from the language of the Torah as well. The Torah says also that this is kosher, and there are also some achronim that agree with this, that bring it down. They say you can rely on that when there's a time of need. What would constitute a time of need? For instance, let's say a person lives in a place where there's a lot of anti-Semites over there. People don't like Jews and so forth and so on. So if they would put the mezuzah in front of the door, everybody would see that. So some goy may come lo aleinu and take the mezuzah and steal it or whatever, or do something, damage it. So therefore, what they do is, in order to avoid this kind of vandalism, they put the mezuzah behind the door, but still in the airspace of the doorpost, because there's more space over there behind. So in the case of that need like that, when a person needs that because he's afraid of vandalism or theft or whatever it is, he can do that, even though there are some poskim who point out that according to the Rambam and according to Nimukei Yosef, it seems to be forbidden to do this. It's also brought down in the Beit Yosef, this opinion, but the truth is that there are some achronim who want to say that even though the Rambam and the Nimukei Yosef seem to forbid this, nevertheless, they say, some achronim, like the Aruch HaShulchan and the Chai Adam, that the Rambam and Nimukei Yosef are talking about something else. They're talking about when you put the mezuzah not inside the airspace of the doorpost, but behind or in front, that's not kosher. But as long as it's in the airspace of the doorpost, but it's behind the door, because people shouldn't see it or whatever, so in a case like that, they say even the Rambam and Nimukei Yosef agree that it's kosher. So therefore, there seems to be like sort of a double doubt over here, spek spekam, to permit this kind of a situation. And also, it seems to be that there's definitely, according to the language of the Shulchan Aruch anyway over there in Reish Pet Tet, it seems to be that he's not particular about this issue of putting it behind the door, because all he says is that you should put it inside the airspace of the doorpost. He doesn't talk about behind the door, in front of the door. This is not really discussed in the Shulchan Aruch, and this is the reason why the Rama adds over there and inserts this caveat that a person can certainly put it behind the door if he needs to. But nevertheless, over time, we see from here that even though putting it behind the door when there's a need for that is feasible, it's possible to do that, there is what to rely on, but nevertheless, if a person wants to put it all together, not in the airspace of the doorpost, but behind the doorpost, or in front of the doorpost, or on the wall, which is not on the doorpost at all, a place like that, where it's not in the airspace of the doorpost, where you're going in, over there, it's not under the lintel at all. So in a case like that, everybody agrees that it's forbidden to do that, and it's not kosher. So therefore, if a person does that, it's like he has no mezuzah on that doorpost at all. Who writes this explicitly? We find this in the Ben Ish Chai, and we also find this in the book Yad HaKatara, which is a book which is written about mezuzot, the laws of mezuzah. There are also many other books that write about this issue, and as we said, that they all agree that when it comes to this issue of putting it behind or in front, and it's not in the airspace of the doorpost at all, so here everybody agrees that's not kosher. The truth is, if a person does that, he doesn't have what to rely on. I remember one time I saw there was a certain pharmacy that I used to go into in Israel, and the person over there was a religious man, religious Jew, the owner. So he had the same situation over there. He had no place to put his mezuzah inside the doorpost, in the airspace of the doorpost. So he put it in the front or in the back. So I told him, I pointed out to him, I said, listen, sir, we like you very much, but your mezuzah is not kosher. Why is that? Because it's not in the right place. So I explained to him what the problem is and so forth and so on. So he told me, okay, so what should I do? You tell me, what do I do in a case like this? How do I fix the problem? There's no place for the mezuzah in the airspace of the doorpost. That's the way it's made. So I told him, I said, the only solution is like this. You got to bring over here a carpenter, right, the handyman, and he's got to drill a hole inside that doorpost, inside, and you got to put it inside the hole. That's the only way to do it. There's no space there. There's no other way. It costs not too much money in Israel. This will cost you about $25, $50 to do such a thing like this. $50 about to do such a job like this. Not big money. So therefore, I told him, I said, you got to bring a handyman to do this for you. So actually, I was surprised. Next time I came, he actually did it. He brought the handyman, and he made a hole in there and he put it inside. Hashem Yisrael, right? Baruch Hashem, we have good Jews in this world who are God-fearing. Same thing also happened one time. I was praying in a shul, and this shul was, the rabbi there was a famous rabbi. His name is Rabbi Shmuel Pinchasi in Yerushalayim, in Har Nof. That's where I lived. So we were praying over there locally. There was a minyan over there, nice minyan. So what happened was that the same problem they had over there in the shul, in the Bet Knesset. When you would go inside the Bet Knesset, there was no room over there for the mezuzah, so they put it in front, not in the airspace of the doorpost. So I told the people over there, I said, listen, you guys got to do something about this. It's not kosher, the mezuzah. Even though the truth is that, according to halakha, the mezuzah that we put in the Bet Knesset, in the shul, it's not really an obligation, because it's just a custom that we put in the shul Bet mezuzah, because it's not a dwelling place. It's not a place where people dwell, especially at night. They don't sleep there. They don't do night activity there. So therefore, the halakha doesn't really require it. But the custom is to put anyway mezuzot also in the Bet Knesset, in the shul as well. So what happened was that I told Rabbi as well, Rabbi Pinchasi. I told him, I said, Rabbi, I'm sorry, forgive me for my candor, but your mezuzah over here in the shul is not kosher because you have it in the wrong place, as we mentioned. So he talked to me about it. He says, well, I was thinking about this, I was thinking about that. After we finished the discussion, I convinced him to do it. So what happened was that they also brought a handyman over there, but Baruch Hashem, the handyman over there found a better solution. They didn't have to actually drill a hole inside the doorpost. What they did was they found that there's a little bit space there that you can put like a flat mezuzah. So they made like a very, very, they brought like a very small, thin kind of a mezuzah there. They put it in there, and they didn't have to drill any holes because there was actually a little space to put a small mezuzah there. So therefore, that's what we did. So that's what we did with Baruch Hashem. So if a person has this kind of situation, unfortunately, he has to make some kind of a solution. Otherwise, the mezuzah that he has, which is outside the airspace of the doorpost, is not kosher. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us to do the right thing and to have everything kosher when it comes to the issue of mezuzah. B'ezrat Hashem, we will talk more about the halachot of mezuzah in the coming videos. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen. God bless you all. All the best. Shavua Tov.